Last night, a few of my friends and we were talking about cards that aren't currently in Master Duel that probably won't be in Master Duel for a long time or even ever. Because there's some reasons for some of them and others are just issues with the coding team. So let's get into it, and first let's talk about the special cards that are under the term of the Kazuki Takahashi arts. Now, ever since his passing a few years ago, these arts have never been reprinted in the span of Yu-Gi-Oh!, in TCG, OCG, or even put anywhere else. Now, some of them being Creative Light, as you can see, but other ones are stuff like Exodia, the Legendary Defender, Red Eye's Alternative Black Dragon, Neo Kaiser Glider, Paladimian Oracle Mana, Blue Eye's Alternative Ultimate Dragon, Magician of Black Chaos Max, Ankh Kuribo, and Shiba Warrior Taro. Now, these are all cards that are drawn by Kazuki Takahashi himself, so you need direct a yes or no to see if these could be printed or reprinted. And since he is no longer with us, you can't have that request. Another card along the lines of this that has been faded out from the OCG and has been printed in 10 years for them, while we get it reprinted all the time, is Spellbinding Circle. Not because of the TCG art, but of the OCG art. Pentagrams and hexagrams have been slowly been pushed out of the OCG, and we've seen it less and less over time, and completely the only thing that we see it on are things like Dark Magician Girl related cards. Now, on still this same topic of hexagram pentagrams, we have Double Spell. Now, Double Spell is a weird one because it has pentagram and hexagram in two of its arts, but for the TCG art, I believe it's just nothing there but just a yellow circle. After that, we have cards that are coding issues. Things like Harmonic Oscitation, Question, Spirit Elimination, Convulsion of Nature, and Pole Position. Because they all have unique style of coding that is hard to do in the engine that Master Duel has, even though it is possible, but they'd rather use their resources on newer cards instead of trying to get these older cards into the game. Now, let's go by each and every one of them. Harmonic Oscitation, it targets two cards in your opponent's pendulum zones, and you can pendulum summon using their pendulum scales. So realistically, this is only going to be useful in pendulum mirror matches, which are very far and few. Question is one of those cards that you have your opponent call the first monster found at the bottom of the graveyard. If they call it right, the monster is removed from play. If they call it wrong, the monster is summoned to your side of the field. It's one of those cards that, with how Master Duel is set up, you would have to make it where the graveyard is locked off. So it's a little extra coding on top of what you have to do to code this card. Spirit Elimination is one of the ones that hasn't gotten a reprint since its exception, and the reason why is because when a monster in the graveyard is removed from play, you can remove monsters from your field instead as a substitute. This card remains active until the end of this turn that it's activated, and substitution remains removed from play. So essentially, if they were to attempt to banish stuff from your graveyard, you can banish stuff from your field instead. Or if you banish something like off a Bestial Magnum, you can banish something off your field instead as a substitute. So it's one of those weird coding things that really doesn't work out that well when you have other things you need to do. Convulsion of Nature, flip the decks up. So it's another coding blunder that there is, that they would have to use more resources on it, creating new cards. And finally, Pole Position. We've seen this from multiple infinite loops, and I think that's the reason why that they don't want to have it in the game, because it would cause infinite loops to happen, but also they could just code it like how it is in the TCG or on things like Omega or even Edo Pro. Now let's get into the more interesting ones, which there is only two of them. We have Bait Doll. This is probably a coding issue, but it's probably just because of the artwork, maybe. I'm not too sure, since if we look at Bait Doll, it hasn't really had many printings. The last printing was in 2012 for the TCG, and the last printing was 2011 in the OCG. Realistically, it's probably just an art thing that they just don't want to put into the Master Duel game. And after that, we have Muan Curry. Now, this was printed in the starter box and theatrical release starter box back in 1999 for the OCG, and was a 2010 and 2011 promo in a promo pack. That explains a lot, and it's only in Duel Links because it was a special card that was given out, and that is because it is a card that's tied to a curry shops. When you bring the card in, you get a discount. So there is limited supply of them. So if you go to the curry shop, you show them the card, you get a discount off your meal. And pretty cool. It is, I believe, called Pass or Muan Tapas, I'm not too sure, but it was a special card that would bring to a curry shop, that specific one, because they've been around since 1997, and you would get discount off your food. So it's one of the unique reasons why it hasn't been in Master Duel, because it would probably just be one of those cards that they would give as a special, hey, we forgot to add it, have it, or free and you can only have one copy. Even though it is choose one player against 200 life, it really doesn't mean much that this is missing out. And finally, one card that I've saved for last, because it's one of those cards that realistically hasn't been printed in the OCG or TCG for quite some time. You know, Korea got it and their reprint set, but it is Element Hero Ernios. There's a lot of controversy between this card, if it's legal issues, if it's even stuff related to the artwork, artists who did it, or many other things that people thought of and the listing. Realistically, we don't know why it hasn't been reprinted or even put on Master Duel, but that is the thing that only time will tell, I hope, because it's just one of those cards that you think it would be there because it's super iconic, but it's not. But I want to know what you guys think about the selection of cards that probably won't be in Master Duel, because some of them are fun, some of them are very useful, I should say. Also, some of them have sentimental value. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. If you're new here, please subscribe, and if you like the video, please hit that like button. Anyways, goodbye.